G'day folks, Connor here from CW's Tech Reviews, back with another video, and today we're doing my full review of the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. Let's go! Now I did go out and pick up the Osmo Mobile 3 combo. It cost me $6 more to get the combo. And in the box, I got the DJI Osmo Mobile, I got the carry case, I got the tripod legs, USB Type-C cable, a carry couch, and a wrist strap. So this is the carry case, which I think is a bit of a dud because you can't actually fit the tripod in the carry case. Here is the pouch that you get. Now I can fit everything in here because it's crumply, you can just squash everything in there and it's nice and handy and nice and easy to carry. The strap, which I'm not going to use, and the unit itself with the tripod legs, this is the size of it folded up, so even smaller, even more compact. It's amazing what they can do with technology these days. It's got a rubbery grip on the handle. On your buttons, you've got your joystick, your power on and your shutter button. And then on the side here, you've got your zoom in, out, and then on the back, you've got your trigger or your hold and release button. Quickly going to go over balancing the unit. You put your phone in a device just like this and you hold the balancing arm here and then you just slide it, and if it rolls one way you've gone too far or not far enough, just slide a bit further. That's almost there, and you just keep going until you hit the sweet spot. There we go, there's the sweet spot for landscape, and then you've got to do the same in portrait. So you have it up like this, and that's just rolling a little bit to the right, so I slide it to the left while I'm holding the balancing arm, and there it is, that's ready to go. And then I just hold down the power button to initialize the gimbal, and there we go, it is on, it is balanced, it is in the sweet spot. Now connecting your phone to the gimbal was just as easy as balancing it. You just download the DJI app onto your phone. Once you've got your gimbal on and you're balanced, open the app up and just press connect. And for me, it just connected straight away. I didn't have any problems. But for the features, we're not going to sit here and talk about it. We're going to go outside and we're going to play with it, have fun with it, and I'm going to show you the real world results. The first thing we're going to record in the DJI app is using hyperlapse mode. And this is on the Galaxy Note 9, so I think it's pretty good video quality. So it's more the hyperlapse function itself that we're going to see how it works. So let's go. So the first thing I'm going to do is just a bit of a pan motion and pan around across the river and just see how stable it is when I do that. And as you can see, it was nice and stable when I did the pan, and it didn't just suddenly stop. It actually just slowly slowed down once I turned around. Once my hand stopped moving, the gimbal just slowly moved around and stopped gently, so there was no jerkiness, which is really good to see. Now the next one I'm going to do is a bit of a tilt motion. So that's just holding it steady and tilting upwards. Then tilting back down. and we have a nice steady shot. So I'm really impressed with the pan and tilt modes, and you can also use the joystick as well. Press record, and the joystick will pan up and down, left and right. And that's pretty stable as well. I don't think there's too many problems with that. And I think you'll be pretty impressed with the footage. Now the next mode that I'm going to use is the gesture control. So I get to do a bit of a gesture to the camera and it will automatically start tracking me, which is great for vlogging and stuff like that. So there's two ways to do this. First one is to wave. 3, 2, 1, and bang, it's recording and it's monitoring my head and it's adjusting to go with my head. And as you can see, it's walking, it's tracking me, it's tracking my head and following me around. Now the next way to activate gesture control is to do a peace sign. So we'll just try this. Three, two, one, it's picked up my peace sign and it started tracking my face again. So it will actively track me due to that gesture control, which is pretty cool. All right, so the next test I'm going to do is I'm just going to press record and just do a bit of a run that way and see how stable it keeps the footage. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty stable footage. You will be able to see a bit of a bounce as I'm running or walking, but it's not too bad. So press and record, and in 3, 2, 1, running. Now there's 3 types of shots you can do with a gimbal, and well, they're the 3 main ones anyway. And the 3 shots are, so you've got your straight up shot like this, which is what most people use most of the time, where you're just walking along like this and getting your average shot. Then the next type is flashlight mode, which you can use with a gimbal where you hold it out like this. But with the Osmo Mobile 3 for flashlight mode, you actually have to hold it like this on the side and do it. So it is quite tricky. So then the next shot that we want to try and do with a gimbal is called underslung, or it's down low to the ground, where you might be following a piece of equipment or a skateboard or a bicycle or a car. And that's like this. But it is a bit tricky with the DJI Osmo Mobile, and you're going to want to use the joystick to adjust it to the right position before you start tracking someone as you're walking along. So it is a little bit tricky and a little bit fiddly. And I do find that it doesn't always recenter to exactly where it should be, and I do have to hit the trigger button twice to make it recenter. So it does come with its challenges. Time-lapse mode is okay. It depends as well on the phone that you're using. Like my Galaxy Note 9 has a pretty good time-lapse mode, so that's what I generally use. If I do use the DJI app for time-lapse mode, yeah, it works and it's not too bad. Then we also have what we call sports mode, and this is where we're holding the gimbal like this. Press the trigger twice, and then on the second time, hold the button in. So 1, 2, and that's in sports mode. And that is gonna follow your subjects quicker, so you can get that shot much more quickly and not lose the person as you're tracking them, because when you're not in sports mode, it can track a little bit slower. But when you're in sports mode, it tracks really quickly, like that. So I generally do like using the DJI app as well. However, it does have its restrictions. Now I can record in 1080p 60 frames per second on the Galaxy Note 9. However, with the DJI app, I can only record 1080p 30 frames per second and 4K 30 frames per second. So you are a little bit restricted, and I do wish that you could record in 1080p 60 with the app itself, but that's not really too much of an issue, because I'll just go out of the app and use the phone camera app instead, and that way I can get my 1080p 60 frames per second. Now within the app as well, you also do have story mode, and that lets you set up some clips to make a bit of a short movie. It'll give you a bit of a theme and some music, and you can join 3 or 4 shots together, and it'll give you that really trendy, cool looking clip. And here's an example of how that can work.
Here I am where the movie started, facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and petals happen everywhere.
And there we go, we've done our quick story mode. It's corny, but it's cool, it works. I think you'll use it. So I've got active track going and I'm just gonna run, holding the gimbal, front facing camera facing me. We're gonna see how smooth it is. There we go. I'm gonna stop that, I'm gonna spin around and do rear facing camera and run back. Okay, so I just did running down the hill, around the corner up to the river's edge, and we'll see how stable it was. I'm just out of breath, but I'm going to do it again. All right, so I'm going to run. It's going to be all over the shop, but it'll give us an indication of how stable it is. Now, one thing I have noticed, it loses its horizon pretty quickly. So it's pretty budget, but it's probably the best one out there for phones. So anyway, I'm going to run. Here's hoping I don't fall over. Let's go. Coppers are after me. Run! Coppers are after me. Oh no! Oh. I don't think they caught me. Okay, so my final impressions of the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. So if you have a smartphone and you want to add a bit more flair to it and you'd like to do some pretty fancy vlogging and some nice cinematic looking sequences to your vlogs, then definitely this gimbal is going to be fun and it's going to do the job. I mean, for 165 bucks, that's Australian dollars, you're definitely going to get your money's worth. Would I recommend it? Yes, definitely. I mean, for the price and what you get, it's packed full of features and nice and easy to use. So definitely DJI Osmo Mobile 3, thumbs up. I appreciate you all watching the video and I will catch you in the next one. Check ya.